Okay, so just picked this gem up from the machine shop. She's ready to go. So as some may know, Jeff Trapnell from TR Engines at Yatala there does a fair bit of my engine work. So he was tasked with this one. So what initially started out as just a cam change, because this was actually a really low K motor, and when I tore it down, it was pretty exceptional. You know, you hear it, you go to buy an engine and people tell you, oh yeah, it's only got 100,000 Ks. You just take it with a pinch of salt unless you can see some sort of proof. But this is one of those rare stories where the seller was actually telling the truth. So anyway, so we got a good one. So but we tore into it and we ended up just tearing it down to a bare block and going through it anyway, cleaned it all up and put fresh rings and bearings and all that good stuff. So just so we know that we don't have any issues. You never know. You never know, and it's always safe to check. So so we've got a fairly sizable camshaft. It's a bit of a custom grind, but it's in the 230, 240 range. So on a 113 split. It's got dual valve springs, push rods, upgraded trunnion bearings and oil pump and all the usual stuff you would do, double row timing chain and ARP rod bolts and all sorts of good stuff. So, and being the VY Series 2, it's got the better breathing system. So the if you're ever looking at an LS1 and you're not sure what model it is, without looking at the number, the engine number, this PCV, and I've only just found out these bolts. So see the countersink bolts, this is a 6-litre cover. Don't mind the fact those bolts are missing, we're going to put them in a minute. They'll tell you that it's a VY Series 2 or a VZ motor, so generally got the Gen 4 rods. So they're pretty beefy. Same rods you'll find in a 6-litre. But anyway, so we're going to paint this one up and get it ready to go in the car, even though our bay's not painted yet. That's going to be on our to-do list. So got our new air filter, so looking nice and tall. We may have some slight bonnet clearance issues there, but that's exactly what we wanted. So we'll drag this thing outside, we'll get it all painted up. I think we're going to paint the engine silver this time. Okay, so here we have a standard set of rocker covers, pretty much found on every LS1, 2, 3, they're all the same really. We're going to cut all these little nubs off from the coils, so we're going to stick the coils inside on the ute, or relocate them anyway, and just make the engine look a bit nicer, because to be honest, these things are pretty damn ugly. So what we'll do is we just cut them all off, smooth them up. That does leave a little hole in them, which we'll have to TIG weld up, and then we will cut this breather off and weld the AN fitting on, and we'll run some AN lines over to a catch can on it, just to make the bay a bit more nicer. So without spending too much money, we're going to have ourselves a nice looking set of custom covers. So let's get on it. Okay, so after about 10-15 minutes on each rocker cover, this is what we've ended up with. So we've just taken the little nubs off, as you can see. Did record it, but the GoPro didn't work. Some idiot didn't push the button. But anyway, this is what they look like, and we've cut them off. So just smooth them off all the way around. Now, these are the holes I was talking about. So you just need to go along and TIG weld them up. Just put a little bit of aluminium in them, sand them back. No big deal. Now, next will be cut this here off, the factory breather line. So as you can see, it's behind the restrictor. I think it's a restrictor plate, whatever you want to call it. A baffle plate, that's it. So just cut that off and drill it out. So key here is to drill it out to the same size as that. Otherwise, basically, putting a larger hose on it's really not going to achieve anything if this here is still the same size. So this here's what I've done on this one. So I've actually drilled this one out to the larger size. So that fits perfectly in there. So this is a dash 8. I've tried to put a dash 10 on these before, so this isn't the first time I've done these. The set on the Commodore and the VC is actually done this way. It's got dash 8 breathers because that's the one that fits perfectly in here. In my experience, I'm going to say my experience here, because I'm no friggin' expert, my experience, I don't believe you need anything bigger than a dash 8 breathing system on these, because now, I run dash 8 on the VC. It runs between 26 and 28 PSI boost. I don't know how much more crank pressure you think you're going to get, but that's a lot of boost. It runs standard compression and all that, so I don't know. Unless your engine's wore out, I don't believe you need any bigger than that. Now, the HQ engine was a stock bottom end 6 litre with a camshaft and a turbo, 15 pounds of boost. It ran the stock 3/8, I think it is, breathing system, and I never had any issues with that thing. So we went to Dash 8 on the VC just in case, because I knew it had more boost in it, and it hasn't been a problem. So in my experience, I think Dash 8 is plenty. So that's what we're going to use on the Ute, because it's an aspirator motor. So, and not just that, it fits really well. It doesn't look oversized, and so it just fits good. So we'll go with that, all right? Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll get these TIG welded up, get these fittings welded on, and we'll come back and see what we look like. Alrighty. Okay, so we've had these covers all painted up. Turned out pretty awesome. So I picked up this $20 bloody China oil cap, just for a bit more chrome, a bit more bling. Got this, I think it's a CPC plenum, not plenum, a valley plate. So it gets rid of the knock sensors in the valley. We're going to run the LS2 ones that mount off the block, down here somewhere. Just like an LS2, so you just got to change the plug and a bit more wire. So easy to do and makes it look neater. Had that painted black as well, so it all matches in, and got these button head Allen key bolts, basically just to make it look a bit nicer. So for the most part, the engine's pretty much ready to go in. Just messing about with this oil filter, not oil filter, oil cooler. So basically goes on here just to move the oil cooler to the front. A little bit of extra capacity, so we don't have the same sort of issue we've had with the VC. Bit of extra oil capacity is always good, and take a bit of temperature out of it. So over the back here is our Turbo 400, brand new TCI, and our starter swap. So we're not too far off. Basically just need to get the bay painted now. Yeah, so we'll go and have a look at the Ute. Okay, so as you can see, not much work has been done. Well, nothing at all actually. So I pulled the engine out, and that's as far as I've got. Just basically looking over it to see what we're going to do. We've got a catch can getting made that's going to go in this area here. Friend Damo's hooking that up at the moment. For the most part, we're probably going to leave all of this. We're not going to try and move batteries or any of that crap. I'd actually like to keep the aircon if I can. Basically just going to smooth, sand it all up and paint a body colour, which I'm yet to decide. But that's probably about as far as we're going to get for this video. So we'll check back when we've got a bit more progress. Alright guys.